Good morning, good morning, good morning. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. We don't believe in the concept of time.
We do believe in agreements.
We do believe in agreements. And we
And
agreed
about
to,
your word.
we agreed to start at 7 o'clock and almost forgot.
Whoop-de-doo. How you do?
It snuck up on us.
Oops, pal, surprise.
Check 1 2 1 2. All right.
Get my phone check in.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice bucket you got on there. I like that. Hey.
Napa Valley.
Friday, June 2nd, 2023. Fresh edition of First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah.
You gotta throw the yeah on there, man. You know what I'm saying?
Say what?
You gotta throw the yeah on there.
Okay. I like that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me clear my throat. Fresh edition of First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the DS.
Yeah, it's going down. Paul B. the Dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. Shout out to Beth for giving me the feedback on today's motivational set list over there on First Sky Omaha, the radio channel. Appreciate you very much. She said you kept her motivated. So I'm with that. Okay. Appreciate that. Yes, you can go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the listen button, and check out that radio channel anytime, 24/7. You can also ask your Amazon Alexa to play First Sky Omaha Radio, and you will be getting down with us. So appreciate everybody jumping in on the chat this morning as well. Excuse me, Friday, June 2nd, 2023. I am 2 days away from the big 5-0.
Oh, yeah, man.
Sunday is the birthday.
Man. Is it Monday? You said Monday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Okay.
Yep. June 4th. So whole new wait a minute. Yeah, today's Friday. Yeah, see? I don't know about time, bro. Yeah. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the big day. So
the math is mathing.
Stepping into a whole new decade.
Man. Is that the big 5-0?
Big 5-0, bro. Yeah. So
half a century.
Interesting. Yeah. So you gotta start thinking about stuff like dying soon and stuff like that.
Oh, man, not yet, man. Jeez, not yet.
Good morning to you. I see Leah Keister in the chat. She says happy yippee fry yippee yay yay yay.
Yay.
Wait, I didn't say it right. Happy yippee fry yippee ya ya yay. I think that's what she's trying to do right there.
Okay. Yay.
Appreciate it. Pop says, good Friday morning, fam, and love from Las Vegas. YouTube wouldn't cooperate with me this morning.
Okay.
Well, I see you're on it, though, right? So
yeah. So must have figured it out.
Judy Prinzer says, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you, too, Judy Prinzer. Amy H. No Dot says, good morning. Good morning to you as well. Hope that things are going well with you.
Hello.
Marianne Williams, who's been dropping a lot of gems in Friends of First Sky Omaha, she says, happy birthday. Hope you enjoy your day. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Any plans?
Not really. I'm just going to be chilling.
And pull a Precious and watch a movie and read a book.
That's right. Old head party is what that's all about. I do look forward to just being like, yeah, maybe I just stay home and do nothing. That sounds really nice.
Yeah, it does.
It does. We'll see. We had a thing planned, and then I was just it turned into I had to plan it, and I was just like, yeah, never mind.
Oh yeah. I guess that would take the wind out of your sails.
It's too busy for all that, man. I haven't been able to plan any parties for anything. I used to be celebrating everything all the time back in the day.
Man,
it's Friday, y'all. Let's have a party. But
right. Like it's 99.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of there too, man. They got three children, so it used to be every birthday. Now it's like maybe the first, 16th, you might get a party. 21st.
That's cold blooded. The kids is like, where my party at? Are you 21 yet? No. Okay, well.
Where's your party money?
You
Where's
know
your
the
party
rules
money?
around here. Yeah, where the party money at? That's hilarious. That's too
But yeah,
funny.
celebrate, man. Celebrate. Definitely enjoy whatever you do, man. Just enjoy it. That's the key. That's the
That's
key.
what's up. Appreciate that. Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning. Christy Nor gives me a happy birthday. Ceci Jean says, good morning, first Sky Omaha family and friends.
Hey.
What's going on with the shades on? Brother Sanchez says, game night for me on the 10th. Okay,
Okay.
that's what's up.
Some
Amy H. No Dot says, happy birthday. Enjoy. Thank you. Miss Erica Fell says, I'm in my best Stevie Wonder voice. Happy birthday to you.
Hey.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah, you got to sing the black one. You got to sing the black one.
Happy birthday.
Appreciate that, everyone.
Yes,
It is
sir.
Friday. You know what that means. The brother senator is going to be on today. Brother Senator Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney, put some respect on their names. We're finally at the other side of the session,
Man.
and lots of little dramas went down the last few days, of course. So,
Yeah. But speaking of doing nothing, I'm sure they ready to loosen the tie and unwind.
bro, for real.
Yeah,
maybe
man.
maybe we go get to have a little non-work session here coming up soon. Now that everybody's kind of taking a little break, so.
Yeah.
Whew, yeah, man, it's been kind of rough. It's been kind of rough this season. Our season is almost up too, by the way.
Yeah. 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks. 2 more weeks. Season 5 will be done. So
6 more episodes.
interesting that we're ending that around the time of the end of the session too. The timing's correlating pretty well on that.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of ramped up and is landing around the same time. So yeah, that is very interesting. Also, speaking of going up and landing, I should be coming there in Omaha very soon. Tickets are booked, so I will be in later this month, around the 21st,
That's what's
22nd,
up. That's
around
what's up.
Father's Day a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah. Actually, I actually might be there during my birthday as well. Speaking of birthdays.
And you got a big one coming up too, right?
Yeah, the big 3-0.
Real.
Yeah.
Another
Dirty,
decade for you.
dirty 30, man. Dirty 30. So yeah. We turning 30 on July 3rd.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. So we gonna have a good time. We don't have a date for that Chat Chimers kickback yet, but we definitely will. Sounds like we're gonna have to do it big this time around. So we'll see.
Man.
We'll see what's happening.
Celebration.
Things in the works. Still in multiple conversations around town with the news of the reader. People really don't understand how the reader was an anchor for everything, bro. like everything is getting shook up when it comes, especially when it comes to news and just the infrastructure of nonprofit news and everything else that's been going on here and that we've been a part of for the last 5 years. Really interesting, man, when you look back and think about it all. So of course we talked to Brother Houston. John Houston will be joining us Monday.
Man, looking forward.
Do not miss that show. Yeah, we're dedicating the whole show to him, basically.
Man, looking forward to that conversation. Like we've been working closely with them. And we've kind of been in the middle of this whole news, situation that you're talking about as far as the reader being an anchor. But still, even still, it's taken us a couple of days to really see all how far the tentacles kind of reach, if you
Yeah,
will. You know what I mean?
yeah. With John Houston being in the center of it, so
Yeah, man.
he's helped us out several times. Omaha Star, not to mention building El Perico and the Reader. We'll talk about it. We'll dedicate some time to it on Monday. So,
Man,
so
gave some
definitely
young
look,
cats a job.
that's right. So definitely look out for that. Monday it's going down.
Man.
That woman says, "Oh, I have." She says, "I have a play school alumni visiting today, and a man doing a dinosaur presentation from Stomp Chomp Roar. So I only came on to say, HB and everyone, be good to yourselves. I'll catch the replay. All right,
Okay.
appreciate you. And you still got your hat too.
Yeah, I need that. It's been a couple of times I had on the outfit like, man, can use that hat.
Need them colors."
Yeah.
Tony Johnson 12. So have a good day, Miss Erica Felt.
Yes.
Appreciate you coming back, and she's reminding me to say that if you miss any parts of this show, you can always go back and watch it in its entirety on Facebook or YouTube. Check out the show and check out the chat when you do. And if you're on Facebook right now, do us a favor and share the show on your page. We get as many people talking in the chat today as possible. We definitely have lots of stuff to talk about today, so appreciate it. Tony Johnson 12 says, "Is Omaha Star interested in filling void of the reader?" I don't
Uh,
think so.
yeah, I don't need. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think the Stars kind of found a lane as far as celebrating the positive good things that are happening in the community, and I mean that's needed. We definitely need that. Of course, they still have their printing services, so that's something that they're focused on as well. But as far as the turn that the reader itself took a turn, like as far as jumping into hard hitting kind of deep dive news. I don't think the Omaha Star, beyond even interest, has a capacity to really do something like
Mm.
that. Um, and that's really kind of the big question about all that is capacity.
It's really not. I think it's really. I think it's more. So I mean, if they wanted to point their efforts towards building out a newsroom that way, they would. I think that they probably could because they still get a lot of support. They still have the Mildred Brown nonprofit there
Hmm.
that can also help. So really, it's their editorial plan really to just highlight the positive things in the Black community, the church. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So they definitely have a lane. And no, I don't think they're trying to do any kind of Chris Baby Boy hard boiled reporting on issues and things like that. But once again, just because the reader's going to be down doesn't mean that those hard hitting reporters are going away. They're trying to stick in there too and still be a part of of coming up with these solutions. And there's other outlets, man. We're hoping that other entities can absorb these reporters. There's still the success of what Flatwater Free Press has been doing. Nebraska Examiner popped up this year as well. We've been working on expanding our news capabilities here on First Sky Omaha. We got a new website launching that'll have a section for news.
Hmm.
So there's still, the players are still out there fighting a good fight. It's just switching up on the outlets. But now is a really good time, since the outlets are being switched up, to ask ourselves this question that we're going to be asking all through season 6. How do we get our news? How do you get your news? For me, in these discussions that I'm having with all these news groups in the last few days, realize that I get my news in very fragmented ways. I'll see a story on TikTok or something, and then my very next move is to question it, and then my very next move after that is to go to some trusted source to see if the story is really a story. And then usually the trusted source is some kind of fragmented piece like on TikTok,
Mm.
or the Griot who does a little short thing on YouTube, or New York Times that has a little piece on Facebook, a little 2-minute piece on Facebook explaining something, or other influencers and journalists that have done deep dives on their own pages to circumvent what's being said. So it's really interesting to figure out like where we're getting our news. Of course, we scour the news, all the news, so that we can bring it onto this show and talk about stuff going on too. So that's another place source I get it. But even when we're pulling that news, where are we pulling it from? Omaha World Herald, Nebraska Examiner, The Reader, Flatwater Free Press, The Griot, New York Times, L.A. Times, sometimes CNN, KMTV. You know what I'm saying? So there's all these sources that we're pulling from, but we got to be honest. I'm putting it out there to the chat. How do you receive your news? If you were to really take a hard look at how it is that you find out what's going on, some of you all already told us that you find out from us,
Hmm.
which I'm like, okay, are we a news source? Because that's wild, kind of, you know, because what we're doing is pulling news sources and just trying to have discussions with you about them. So, but you're right. Like some of the first times we're hearing about stuff is on the show. So, I remember asking this question a couple years back, and they were like, John Stewart. They were like the daily, the you know what I'm saying, the Daily
Man,
Show.
and
Uh,
and still that's still how some people get their
yeah,
news. I forget who's hosting it now. It was Trevor Noah.
Trevor
Um,
Noah. Yeah, yeah. And
is
then
he still hosting it?
nah, they got a bunch of special. They keep on bringing a bunch of special guests
It's
on
like a
now. I haven't watched
rotation.
in a while. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
rotation going on. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that we'll be talking about a lot of that kind of stuff and more. As a matter of fact, it's coming up on 7:15, 7:16 right now. We'll go ahead and get the show started, then we'll come back and talk about the things that we're going to jump into today.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us this morning for a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, a little late on that. I'm in the chat. I'm not gonna lie. I was in the chat
Full of
looking
pressure.
at Amy H. No Dot's comment. She's actually answering your question about how we get news. So
Yep.
it's
Coming
coming
on
in.
back.
So
We'll come back and talk about it in
yeah,
just a
yeah,
second.
yeah, yeah. Keep it
Ladies and
coming.
gentlemen, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Let's do it. What up? What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah. Paul B.
Hey,
the Dove,
okay,
Buddi3
there we
Da
go.
Gawd, chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. Thanks for joining us on this Friday, June the 2nd, 2023. The 50th year of hip hop. We appreciate
Man,
you joining us this year, this whole season 5 going down. Teamwork makes the dream work. So we appreciate everybody that's on the team. Judy Printer says, "Love you, Paul. Happy birthday on Sunday. Thank you very much." Mama God gives us a good morning, First Sky. Good
hey,
morning to you.
my
Pop says,
dudes.
"Yes, son. Half a century. I still think of the epic. I still think of the pic we have when you were standing next to me wearing your little bow tie. Congratulations. I love you, man. Thanks, Pop. Appreciate it.
Man, time flies, man.
Yeah,
Time flies.
Pop's probably never thought that you'd have a 50-year-old son. That's I can imagine that being a real trip. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
Rick Fulton in the chat. Why do people of North and South have to reapply for ARPA money with the state? There are no guarantees for anybody getting money from the Nebraska Department of Economic Development with LB 531. The state threw $2 million down the drain by hiring Olson, then ignoring them. Okay, appreciate your opinion. Do want to remind you though, we definitely saw your post over there on Friends of First Sky Omaha. We need you to remember that this is not a space that we use the chat for the way that a lot of people use chats to kind of troll and to be disrespectful and so on and so forth. So please be respectful, even if you disagree. Um, to answer your question, first of all, I feel like there's some gaps in what it is you're asking about because we have had the senators on several times now to break down exactly the process, and it sounds like you're not understanding the process completely. So maybe we can have one of the senators when they come on a little later on, kind of break down, give us the overall on that, and talk about it a little bit more because there is some victories that has happened. We
man.
now have millions of dollars in North and South Omaha, thanks to the senators. And as a matter of fact, let's stop there and jump into what it
Yeah,
is
yeah,
our
yeah. I
funding.
mean, again, if you actually have genuine questions, brother Rick Fulton or anybody else actually have genuine questions and you genuinely want to hear the answer, then we'll definitely talk about that. The senators, as you mentioned, will be coming on. We will get into the big news about that very situation as far as LB 531. Because in the ticking hours of the legislative sessions, some victories were had, as Paul just mentioned. LB 531 did pass on a 37-8 vote. So we'll talk about the details of that. So again, if you have some genuine questions about that, please listen closely because we will get into that. Also, we will talk about this criminal justice reform, one of the big victories that I'm excited about, a multi-year effort on criminal justice reform coming in the wee hours of the sessions as well. So big shout out to both Senators Wayne and McKinney who are working hard on these issues. Again, looking forward to diving into the details with these. Also, other senators that have a victory, they did override one of the vetoes from the governor. Again, Governor Pillen vetoing over $100 million worth of bills. And again, senators geared up to try to punch back, if you will. And it looks like they did reach some success in the forms of getting some funds to the auditor which is interesting. So we'll kind of
Hmm.
dive into that situation, exactly what that means, what that looks like. Also, there's a few other bills that did pass that I wouldn't quite call a victory, but something we definitely have to talk about. The voter ID situation is still around, still lingering, especially with the 2024 election coming up. Something we have to talk about and be aware of some of the changes coming down the pipe on exactly how we will be able to vote. So, again, we'll definitely talk about that situation and more. Of course, there's a couple stories that we did not get into last episode, looking at the ACLU and the whole Planned Parenthood lawsuit that's coming down. Again, the ACLU will be suing the state on behalf of Planned Parenthood over the LGBTQIA bills and some of the acts that have recently passed. And then also looking at a few education bills that passed in the waning hour. So again, we're going to dive into all the legislative things. We're talking economics, or we're talking criminal justice, or we're talking all of that. And of course, or anything that's we're not talking about, feel free to drop that into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard.
Also, some housing situations too.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Front Porch just dropped some loot, so we'll have to definitely talk about what keep up with what Front Poach is doing. See what they
Man,
do.
lots to get into. Lots to get into.
Most def. Jumping back into the chat real quick, Amy H. No Dot says that's a great question to ask. That's when you were talking about earlier about how we get our news. That has changed a lot for me. Used to be NPR, now it's smaller scale outlets. I like the Rumble platform. Never heard of that. Go check it
Okay,
out.
Rumble.
Rumble, young
Rumble.
man, Rumble. Pop
Yeah.
says all of my news comes from YouTube, starting with First Sky. Thanks, Pop.
Okay. Okay.
Right on.
Yeah.
Rick Fulton says so. The kid from North Omaha that wanted money from the federal government to expand his ice cream business was told to take a hike, and 531 tells the in the
Nebraska Department of Economic Development,
NDED. Thank
NDED.
you, thank you. I'm trying to say NDED. Can't say it.
In did
to
ended.
give Creighton 25 million for a baseball field. How corrupt? Again, you're voicing an opinion. I'm not really seeing the corruption there. I do see where the senators have been playing chess and working with other senators to also get what they want, and in order for us to also get what we want. But we can have them explain that a little bit deeper. Tony
Mhm.
Johnson 12 says Omaha bad with getting news, communication horrible in our community, good and bad news. I agree with that. Marianne Williams says, I don't think it's possible to get a complete news report from one source. I need multiple sources anyway. Very true.
Agree.
Very true. Ariel's 402, what's up, Mayor Sanchez? Says, hit the like button, y'all. Appreciate that very
Hey,
much.
Maya.
Von Chapman says, good morning. Von Chapman, I got to say, brother, I'm sorry. My condolences to you and your family. I'm very sorry to hear about the death in your family.
Oh
Um,
man.
yeah, 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 very, very sorry to hear about that. I'm not sure how much you want to talk about it, but just wanted to extend that.
Yeah.
Wanda Lewis is talking to Rick Fulton. I think the city of Omaha should have left it at the legislative level and stayed out of it. They accomplished nothing. Okay, so we'll dive into what you're talking about there.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Rick Fulton is saying the feds should come back to Nebraska and ask for their $300 million back. I'm going to contact our federal delegation and ask for an audit and say we should give Biden back his money.
Why?
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to figure out why.
Why?
What's wrong with
Why?
$400 million coming to North and South Omaha? What's wrong with that?
Why would you stop that?
Yeah, you starting to make me feel a little bit like you on some kind of different mission here inside First Sky Omaha, bro.
Yeah, but we're not falling for it.
We kind of like we kind of all a little bit kind of helping each other get on the same page and understand some things, and we've been working real hard to do that and bringing the senators. So have the senators coming on week after week after week. I don't know if you've been missing shows or you lacking some kind of information or what the deal is, but I'm feeling a little some kind of way about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you got to do what you got to do what you got to do elsewhere. If that's how you feel about it.
Yeah. Again, if you want to have a genuine conversation, we can, but it just seems like you're lacking some information. Which we're here to inform. We're here to help. Paul said, everybody get on the same page. It's just a lot of, like, for instance, you talking about the kid with the ice cream business. I personally know that there were some things about how that kid got that business that wasn't in the news, but that wasn't the reason that that business ended. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, and I don't know how it's associated
right, right,
with
right, right.
531 and all that. Yeah.
Just need some more information.
Yeah,
Which
please do. Tony Johnson 12 is asking, how is Rick Fulton disrespectful nicknames and opinion used in group and show by others with no problem? Now I don't know if you saw the post in the Friends of First Sky Omaha, but it was it was just disrespectful, and I wanted to speak on that because we got to kind of watch that. We have to watch it ourselves too. Same thing.
yeah,
We kind of check ourselves all the time. We talk when as a matter of fact, we ain't said Mean Gene in a long time because we trying to even on that side of things work at being a little bit more respectful when we talk about anybody. So yeah, help us do that too. Arrows 42 says, "Boss talk. You can ask the senators when they come on. I mean, that's why we bring them on. Ask
yeah.
them
I
directly.
mean,
Ask them directly. I appreciate that." Tony Johnson told us, "At least he's contributing to group, unlike those who came at him." I don't consider you coming in voicing your opinion disrespectfully contributing to the group. The group is there for you to get on and talk to people like you talk to them face to face. So getting on spewing opinions or preaching or and not that he was doing all that, but I'm just saying like getting on and not addressing people the way that we address them when we speak face to face, then we're doing something else. It's a change. It was a change for me too because I'm used to going on chats and seeing people just spew all the time. I mean that's kind of like the nature of chats. Go to channel 7 and look at their chat. It's just disrespectful opinion after disrespectful opinion and racism and everything else on there because people have this anonymity. They get on there, they say what they want to say, and they jump off with no consequences. And we what we're trying to do is something different. We're trying to act as if you're face to face speaking with somebody. That's the only way that the chat can work. That's why chat chimers work like they do, and that's why this show works like it does. And we're gonna continue to try to and make sure that everybody understands that so we can get to somewhere in the conversation. That's kind of the point. If people got to come back and be defensive and feel disrespected and all that kind of stuff, then we're not really getting to the conversation. Um, Everybody, you can have your opinion. That's fine. We're here to debate those opinions. That's cool. We just saying like be respectful when you're talking about it. That's all.
yeah.
And I'm getting to the point like if you don't get that by now, after 5 seasons and 2 years of us doing this, there's a way in which we need to have this conversation. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean you have to agree with everything. It just means that we got to address it a different way.
And I guess that's kind of more so my issue, just how it's being addressed. It's not really leaving room for response. It's a very pointed, and I'm speaking specifically to what I'm seeing from Rick Fulton in the chat about LB 531, and I appreciate any concerns, any questions, anybody playing devil's advocate, but it's how you frame. It's the line of questioning, how you frame the question. You can't ask a question like why is this and see and ask the question and then wait for a response.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain that any further to a group full of adults.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's move on from that.
But I do want to talk about those things as far as LE 531 and the whole process of what's actually going on.
Yeah, we are. That's what I want to go ahead and move on to. Wanda Lewis is replying to Refold. She says it was definitely done backwards. So she kind of agrees that the way that the process was done backwards. Shouldn't gotten the funding approved prior to any distribution. Should have gotten the funding approved prior to any distribution. Hasn't been distributed yet. It's got to go through the DED to be distributed. First of all, it's got to go to the DED and then it's got to go to the governor. So again, maybe we're not reiterating the process enough. We got to kind of go back over it, but and that's understandable. Everybody's not watching every show,
Yeah.
It's been, we've taken show. It's been over time that we have been trying to break down this process and bringing the senators on every week for the past 12 weeks or something like that, so that we can kind of figure that out. But again, when they brought in that company, they brought it in for an evaluation. There's still even an opportunity to reapply even to that situation, according to Brother McKinney 2 or 3 shows ago. And then, we all know that now that it's been approved, it's got to go through the DED. You can apply and speak to the DED about your situation, about trying to receive some of those funds that are coming in. The money is not even coming from because 1024 turned into 531. The money's not even coming from the ARPA funds anymore. It's coming
So
from the state.
furthermore, you can't send it back to the federal government because
That's
they're
what I'm
not
saying,
federal.
bro.
Yeah, yeah. You're just there's a lot of information missing. Yeah.
Marlon Harrison says, "Good morning, first Sky Omaha. Thank you for interviewing on Wednesday. Yeah, thanks for coming on, bro. I appreciate that very, very much." Tony Johnson 12 says Rick Fulton might be looking at the process not being in line with federal guidelines. Not sure, bro. We've been right along the way. Everything has been up and up. I agree. I agree to the goal of comments, thus using Rick Fulton post wrong example to use. I don't know about that. I don't really like that. Tell Senator Sankofa blah blah blah. You wouldn't say that to us. You wouldn't be in the room saying, hey, tell Senator Sankofa blah blah blah. You
Or
wouldn't.
just wait till Friday and you tell him yourself. Like
You know,
he's coming on Friday.
he
Like
also
what was the point of that post?
he's
That's
also
like
he's
it's
also in
not
Friends of,
constructive.
he's also in Friends of First Sky Omaha reading that. You can say it right directly to him, just as if he's on the show like that. So you want to call him Senator Sankofa to his face, go ahead. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not the spirit of the comment there.
Yeah, it's not even the same spirit in us saying Mean Gene. Like that's yeah.
Amy H. No Dot says, I greatly appreciate the way First Sky structures the chat and comments. I wouldn't listen otherwise. I appreciate you saying that. Marianne Williams says, I read what Rick posted. I understand where he's coming from, but I don't think he realizes what all the funds are for. ARPA is for all of Nebraska, for example. Right. That's what I'm saying. You're missing some information there. It's that 1024 money went all over rural
Rule.
Nebraska and everywhere.
Yeah.
Idle Vital Living with Imani. What's going on? How you doing?
Hey.
Good to hear from you. She says, looking forward to the show today. Big victories with Omaha. For
Yeah, man.
real. For real. Let's get to it. Stacy Jean says, some people are deliberately obtuse. Marianne Williams says, also, we give back federal dollars too often, and they're already come out of our federal taxes. Also, yes, Tony Johnson 12 says, thus the responses he received should be cited as wrong too. Yeah, probably. Amy H. No Dot says it is very confusing process. The senators might agree that the Olson process was not necessary.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would agree with that.
Well, from conversations that, and let's just go ahead and get into it. Let's just get into the story. But from the Olson process and from the conversations, and we can reiterate when the senators get here.
Yeah.
But from what I gathered, I don't think they agreed with it, but it was kind of a necessary step to get the bill, to get like the goal is to get the money.
Right.
So if
And
you have to go to some third party for them to look through things, so individuals can't say that you had conflict of interest. Because people are already saying that the senators had conflict of interest. So what if they were the ones that were fielding this? Imagine what people will be saying then.
right.
So
And understanding the process of how you get the money, it still has to be voted on. It still has to go through the
right.
DED. It still has to go through the like there's if you have to if you have to set it up with other senators to vote for you so that you can get the votes you need to get it passed. You got to work with them. You got to do things that look above board, like having a third party come in. You got to do all these things in order for people to understand that this is not you just trying to pocket some money for North Omaha. I mean, you would never nobody would ever let you do it. No other senators would ever let that even happen. It was all these moves are to stay above board, to keep the goal in mind, and to work with these other senators to get the votes to pass this.
Right. I mean, and furthermore, again, I don't think it was the senators who was like, yeah, let's do this. I definitely, again, from everything that I'm seeing based on conversations with the senators directly, what I read on the whole process, just all of this that we've been through, I can definitely see more so this Olson process being for the conservative senators who might be looking at North and South Omaha like, yeah, they don't need that money.
I mean, they've said they don't just they say that.
Exactly.
Why are
So
we
you
giving them more
do
money?
again. So you do a third party. Just I don't think that was for the senators, and I do agree. Tony Johnson in the chat says Olson process put wedge between community because our crab in a barrel mentality. But that's the community's fault, and I think that was going to happen regardless. Some
Yeah.
people was going to get money, and some people wasn't. But again, man, it's very interesting. I was just having this conversation. With my wife about this as far as BBLs and Just follow me. She would talk about getting one, but we were just talking about the mentality and why people get that. And it's just like people are homeless. There are people, and there are people out here buying new butts. Like, follow me.
Whole asses. Whole.
So it's just how selfish can you be? Do you care about the community or not? Are you happy that money is coming in the community, or aren't you? Or do you just care about yourself? And that's what I'm seeing from this whole crab in the barrel mentality.
Mm.
I understand crabs don't belong in a barrel, but the way that crabs get out of the barrel is by creating a chain and pulling each other up, not pulling each other down. That's what the chain is for.
There you go. Marianne Williams says, if you're paying attention at all, you know how long and difficult the process of getting any bills passed, much less bills specifically benefiting certain neighborhoods at a state level.
A lot of hoops.
I don't know. I guess that's what I'm surprised about today. But we're the ones that are on the show every day, so it's like I realize that everybody's not watching every show, and a lot of what we do spans over shows, so that it can be fully explained.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe this is a wake up call for us. Maybe next season we'll figure out how to put some kind of consolidation graphic or video up for any of these processes that we are trying to learn about over time, over the course of the shows, so that we can make sure everybody catches up on the latest information of what we figured out and found out.
Right. Maybe infographics or other forms of content that can help, to supplement the show or supplement what we're talking about. Maybe we could do more to inform, because you are right. We are speaking like, people we talk about this every day, but
Some
you
people,
aren't here every day. Some people don't
right.
listen every day. So I do appreciate that
and pe-
perspective.
and some people still aren't going to agree, and that's fine too. Like we've definitely changed our minds on some things because of what people who disagree came on and said about it. So we we're here to learn too. Our eyes get open on some things. I definitely think that there's several things that could have happened when it comes to what's the name of the Olson, when it comes to
Mhm.
like there's several other ways they could have tried to determine who's going to get what. Olson was just one of the ways. You definitely didn't want like the senators doing it themselves. We might have been able to find a different way, but again, Olson were just suggestions.
Right. Right.
Nobody's got any money yet. Nobody's getting awarded anything yet.
And again, if not Olsen, then who?
So yeah. So anyway, you're right, Julie Prince. We all need to listen and learn for sure. We're not saying that we know it all. We certainly absolutely don't.
Right.
But we are trying to grab onto the stuff that we are learning. We've taken the time to bring on people and do stuff and talk about stuff and deep dive and listen to your comments and so on and so forth, and read and research so that we can understand and hopefully be some kind of conduit to be able to explain some of it and get to it. So,
Yeah.
let's jump into
Yeah.
at least what that $400 million means right now.
Yeah, and I also would like to, while I pull this up, remind everybody that we are one of the organizations that applied through Olson and got zero. So we could
And now
easily be along with everybody kicking up dust, but let's take a different approach to it.
and we did. We kicked up dust first time we saw that zero on it, and
Like
then
what?
and then we decided to look deeper and figure out why, and bring on the senators, ask some questions, and we did. Von Chapman says the end result will ultimately result with the governor, and that may be the ultimate disappointment we shall see. Uh, it's signed into law.
Well,
When that came up, the governor said, "There's nothing that went down today that I'm going to veto." Now we'll see if he goes back on his word.
it's going to be an immediate thing. Of course, let's get into the article in the last chapter, and as we've been talking about the final hours, and pushing across the finish line. LB 531 made it, as I mentioned earlier, 37 to 8 vote. Lawmakers passed Legislative Bill 531. And now the next step is to the governor's desk for his signature. And once his pen touches that bill, it will take effect as a law the following day. The bill, of course, follows up on 1024 and builds and actually adds about $100 million to that effort. 531, more than $400 million will be focused specifically on low income Omaha neighborhoods, but money will also go to revitalization efforts in other rural parts of the state, as we mentioned. Again, LB 531, as Senator McKinney states, will aim to reduce poverty and crime rates and improve educational and health outcomes. LB 531, as I mentioned, will increase the business park. These are some of the things that are necessarily haven't been distributed, but earmarked. There are some I would say programs that have already been approved. That's the best way to frame this. Again, talking about the airport business park, which we've already discussed with the senator before. It has been reported that they will get 60 million. Now, with the passing of 531, that will be bumped up to 100 million. Also, 20 million has been allocated for affordable housing projects, which I believe that those funds actually will be going to front porch nonprofit who and Spark CDI, I believe, who's already set aside some projects as well. Also, 30 million will be dedicated to innovation hubs, which I believe Senator McKinney has more information on as far as what those hubs will look like and will entail. But some of these are the projects that again had also 20 million for the Malcolm X Museum. So these are the projects that have already been set forth. So as far as people saying, things are being distributed, there are projects that have been approved, but I don't think anybody has received any funds. And really looking at the projects that have been approved, I personally don't have any problem with it. But
Well, I know that
again,
they weren't approved before. They had to go back and push because of the pushback that happened after Olson, because there was no money going to Charles Drew, no money going to Malcolm X. They weren't.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
They were being that what they were doing in the beginning were not naming certain organizations like that. They weren't. They were trying to make it be a more universal thing. And then after that Olson report came out, then they kept on working with everybody on trying to figure it out. And then came down to some things where they can approve a few things and they can move around some funds for other things. So that's they're still working on it, definitely. Um and, and uh I, I want to just address real quick. Tony Johnson 12 says governor will use his influence to determine projects funded. Yeah, they're still in the fight. They're still trying to fight. They still have to fight, even though he's probably not going to veto it. He says, I think that's what Vaughn is implying. Money not vetoed, but projects may not fully benefit North Omaha how we think it will. Yes, there'll be a lot of that because it's a huge project and it's involving several different kinds of organizations. Nobody's going to be happy about all of it at all.
mm-hmm,
Um, you know, but remember, some of it already had to go to rural Nebraska. I don't really see nobody tripping on that. We're tripping on Creighton
yeah,
and other things, but I mean, there's millions of dollars. South Omaha is getting something like 100 million of that. They
mm-hmm.
have stuff earmarked already too.
Actually, and quite interesting on that note, there was another legislation bill that was wrapped up into this. Again, we talked about how bills can be amended and things can be kind of folded into bills in the last minute. And apparently, there is legislation from Senator Rick Holdcroft of Bellevue, which will allocate 15 million to improve sewer systems in Bellevue, and also 180 million to a new water treatment plant in Lincoln.
Mm. So yeah, we still have to find out where it's all going for sure. Tony Johnson 12 says, "What prohibits Malcolm X Museum from being loves jazz years after money?"
The
I
board,
mean,
the
right?
leadership,
Joanna LaFleur and Leo Lewis not letting that happen. I mean,
yeah. I mean, but
um,
if you're really concerned about that, after the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation gets this money, go volunteer, go help,
get on the board, bro.
right? Go do something. Not saying you're not, but that's my suggestion.
Yeah. Let me see. Marion Williams says, "I just have to say it again. No other funds have been earmarked for specific neighborhoods at the state level. Only North and South. Oh, it's not. It's no small feat. Excuse me. No small feat.
No, it's not. It's not. And again, they the senators are there to pass legislation. That's what senators and legislators do. They're there to pass legislation, pass bills, get things done. Once they get the money to the state, then they kind of did their job. It's kind of now up to us to make sure that the governor, who we as a state elected, to make sure that the governor does what the the other what is the other branch of government told the governor to do. That's our job as citizens of the state, is to make sure our government is doing what it's supposed to do. So if we're concerned about what the DED is doing, we shouldn't go at the senators. We should keep an eye on the DED and make sure that we know what they're doing.
The other things the senators are here to do is to be on the show right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we
Hey,
are now introducing to you Brother Senator Justin Wayne. Put some respect on his name. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. How you doing, brother?
Morning. I didn't get my Cox cable fixed, so I don't know how we're gonna work out yet. So
Okay,
throwing that out there.
we also got Brother Senator Terrell McKinney waiting in the wings as well. We're gonna bring him on as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, at the same time, Brother Senator Terrell McKinney.
Hey,
hey,
he's
How
an
you doing, brother?
undisclosed location. Look at him.
man,
I'm home.
honeycomb hideout. See, you
Yeah.
got your North shirt on, man. V's up,
He at the red couch spot today.
relaxing. I see both you gents. Looks like you're at home. How's it feeling now that the legislation sessions are over? Where you at?
I'm happy, relieved. It's over. It was long, drawn out. I'm relieved.
Okay.
I bet you were. How you feeling, Brother Wayne?
I'm going to get my hair cut today.
Hey,
I
self
need
grooming. It's a good feel. You leave the shop, man. You got that fresh line up, man. The sun is shining on you,
to feel like a
Real.
new man.
man.
No, it's good. I'm glad session's over with. This has probably been the longest session that I've ever been a part of, as far as just the back and forth negotiating, and yeah, it was crazy. Even up to the final hours yesterday, we still weren't sure where everything was.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was anxious to hear about, man, because I know there's a lot of last minute shenanigans and stuff that went down in the last few days. But we can start with the victories, because the bills that you guys are working on got passed. I especially like the criminal justice reform got a good start. Sounds like to me. 531. So let's speak on that real quick. Tell us about the successes.
Trey, you want to start at 531, and I'll do the LB50.
Yeah. So 531 passed yesterday. What it pretty much does is direct the Department of Economic Development to consider people that applied through the OSIM process again. It also had 20 million for Malcolm X, 20 for federally qualified health centers, Charles Drew. Also has some stuff going to rural, a million for rural revitalization, 5 million for I think Standing Bear, and another five for May. Was it for Mayhew Cabin?
Yep.
Or
No, Standing Bear, and then 5 million for Ogallala Rail Spur.
right, yep. And that was kind of pretty much it. It was some other stuff that got attached that was going through urban affairs, and it was just the vehicle for some of that stuff. But that's pretty much it for 531.
Okay.
So
Where's
part of
Creighton
that,
fit in there?
part of that 531 is we also said if the city's going to build a streetcar, 30% of the housing around that streetcar needs to be affordable housing. So people
Okay.
ain't locked out of downtown and midtown. That was big, but the biggest thing is we were able to go after the interest rates on the prison, the canal, and some other funds. We picked some specific funds, and that's going to bring close to another 150 million over the next 3 years into this fund that we can continue to use.
Wow,
Man.
that's heavy. That's real heavy, man. That's the success for real. On a bunch of different levels, taking from where you're taking it from, and being able to extend that over years. That's a trip. We had some chat chimers in the chat. We kind of been going through it this morning a little bit, trying to figure out some things, and people keep mentioning Creighton, getting some of these 531 money. Is Creighton involved in this at
No.
all?
So last year, Creighton got $1 million for financial assistance, where they actually have a really successful program where they take people who are in poverty and are trying to just figure out how to do finances and walk them through like checkbook and what it really means and how to use it. That's what they got last year. I think people are getting confused on shovel ready, which is another bill that Senator McDonald introduced, and Creighton is getting up to 30 million from that bill, but that doesn't have anything to do with 531. It's all being painted together because it's all East Omaha, but that's a different bill.
So the shovel ready, because I do know that there was talk about a new baseball field, practice facilities for the College World Series teams and things like that. That's coming out of the shovel ready bill that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's coming out of the shovel ready bill, and people need to be ready because shovel ready. Uh, we only had one black organization apply last round, and that was Contemporary. What's the 24th and Lake?
Union for Contemporary Art.
Union,
Hmm.
yeah. So Benson Theater, I know you tied in with them, and other folks. They be ready for this next shovel ready round and go after 1 or 2 million. But that's
So just to clarify, the Creighton baseball fields are not coming out of LB 531 or any of the funds that have been allotted for Omaha, North and South Omaha, and the rural areas of Nebraska. That's not coming out of those funds. It's not related in any way. And furthermore, the funds that are being used for those baseball fields is a whole nother allotment of funds that we can also tap into if we're paying attention. I'm just making
correct.
that clear. So
Correct.
not
So
only is it not taking out of funds, but there's also other funds that we can apply for.
right, and so part of
Okay,
the
just
problem is
making
we
that
were
clear.
negotiating against that, right? So because rural Nebraska sees East Omaha as East Omaha, and I'm like, no, downtown is different. So we had to walk a fine line there. But yeah, so there's 70 million that is divided into 30 million, up to 30 million is going to Creighton, and then there's 15 million in each congressional district. So Omaha has another 15 million that we all can, not we all, y'all all can apply for additional funds for nonprofits who are trying to do capital construction.
Okay.
Capital
Okay,
Construction.
that's good to know.
Yeah.
Furthermore, in the chat there was some confusion about the Olson reports and the DED, and specifically the question is why do people of North and South Omaha have to reapply for ARPA money with the state? So
It's
can you, I guess,
it's
kind of
it's not really a reapply. There's been a year since the Olson report came out, right? So that was in January. So everything in there may not still be coming to fruition. There are 3 or 4 companies that we already got email about who decided they're not doing that project anymore.
mm,
So it's a guideline for DED, but at the end of the day, DED still needs to know that the project is viable, and nobody got fully funded. So if you had a $20 million project and only got 10, DED has to have the responsibility, and we as taxpayers want to know, do you have the rest of the money to finish the project? So it's that basic level of understanding to make sure that projects are still viable before we cut a check for 10 million and you ain't got the other 10 million to complete the project. Like that isn't. So you're not. What I would say is you're updating what you already have. So you're gonna take your report, you're gonna update and say here's where we are, is it still viable, and go from there. Like, but we have to do that. I mean, the report, it's been such a long time between the report and funding that you got to make sure these programs are still viable.
right.
And
And
then go ahead.
go ahead. Well, I'm just gonna ask as far as once the money is allotted, once the governor signs. When is the governor set to sign this? Because again, it goes into law the day after.
We told the governor he got one day to sign it, and he got 4 days to get the money out. When we was hanging with him last night, so I don't know if he's gonna do it that quick or not. But
Okay, so it could be today if he listened. It could be, but again, we're talking about within a matter of a week,
Yeah.
maybe two, that these funds will be allotted to the DED. So
well,
once the DED gets the funds, how much do you is your job done, or where does it go from there?
no, if they design the program like they did in Lincoln, it'll come down to senators recommend. There'll be extra points added to your to the report if you have senators' recommendations. That's how they did it in Lincoln. They might do it a different way. We are having conversations about that. The biggest thing, and this is what I'm trying to tell everybody, is we got to have some tight strings around this. Otherwise, you're competing with downtown projects. Downtown is a qualified census tract. So we got to keep telling people this is for North and South Omaha. Nothing against downtown, but we already got $1 billion of development going downtown.
You're right. Yeah.
So
Makes
no, we're
sense.
not done. We're gonna be keep having conversations, making sure the dollars are going the way it's supposed to. But I mean, I'll tell you this: by August, if ain't money moving, we'll be on the show saying, we all got to storm down to the governor's mansion and have a conversation.
Mm,
Okay, okay.
okay. That's what's up. Also, yeah, that's Tony Johnson 12 is kind of asking a question. It's kind of the same thing that I'm asking too, because I've heard you guys say before that there's going to be some things put in place after the funds get approved and people start getting the money. There's going to be some checks and balances there on the backside of it too to make sure that everybody's using the money right, and for the sole purpose of us being able to continue to get funds in the future because we're not messing up these funds. How are we making sure funded projects on North Omaha are actually successful 5, 10, 20 years from now? Do you have any more information on any of those kinds of checks and balances that are going to come after the money comes?
I mean, there will be some reporting mechanisms put in place to make sure people are following the rules and the guidelines, and we also just honestly as a community just have to still hold people accountable in a sense of like if somebody gets something, let's make sure they do what they're supposed to do. It's only so much we can do just by
Hmm.
law, but we try to do as best as possible to make sure there's some stuff in place so everything is executed properly and it all works out. But honestly speaking, nothing is a guarantee to work. We just got to try to do as best as possible to try to make it work.
Right.
And
Well, again,
we gave the auditor this year, I think, an extra 1.4 million that we overrode the governor for, and that's
Yeah.
that's really specifically to audit all these funds. It's not just Omaha, but we giving out a lot of funds right now, and so part of that is you're gonna have an auditor making sure you're using all your funds too, and there is gonna be clawback. So if you ain't using them the way you're gonna use them, I think this governor will go after those people and say they got to return the dollars.
wow. That's heavy news right there, and I'm glad you tied in that auditor headline there because I was wondering about how that would affect what was going on with us. So that's the reason why you guys vetoed. The governor vetoed that. You guys override the veto by having enough votes to put that back in play. That gives more money for the auditor to be able to have the support and hire the people that he needs and fill out the job because there's a lot of stuff coming that they need to be able to keep track of and audit. That's interesting how that all ties in together. So I'm glad you made us understand what's going on there with that one. Congratulations on 531, man. It's no we digging into the details here, but we gotta say this is huge. We can't take away the fact that this is momentous. This is a huge big thing that just happened that you guys have been fighting for a while, and I really appreciate your efforts and everybody who understands the process here really appreciates your efforts. We know that you're not finished with this. It's still more to be done with it, but session is over now. It got passed. And, big hurdle with the senators. Big hurdle having to get other senators to vote on this, and you guys won that. So really appreciate all the efforts you did there, and congratulations.
Well, thank you. And I'll tell you, I think the biggest thing the community has to understand is we can't let perfection be the enemy of good. And we've seen a lot of people who are talking about with money and where they're trying to control everything, and we as state senators we can't do that. I mean, I ain't showing up on people's projects and making sure the design is what they said in the grant application. Like I can't do that.
All right. Coming up on 8 o'clock, we're dipping into the second hour of First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah, we're here with the brothers senators, Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names. You guys have any questions for them on any of these things? Anything that you want to say to them face to face? Then this is the time to do it. They're here and can answer any questions in the chat that is relevant to the conversations that we're trying to have right now. So appreciate that. Let's shift to LB50 if you don't mind. Love to hear about the successes that happened with LB50.
Yeah, LB50. It's the first step. We're expanding problem solving courts. If you look at problem solving courts, about 4% of the people who are eligible are actually 4% of the people who are eligible actually get into problem solving courts. It's a way to keep people out of prison and keep people in the community. We also had a bill for law enforcement, help them get information on people who are on probation. It's still got to be court ordered, and we narrowed it actually to be specific to certain things. It has to be post data. It can't be live data. They just want to see where Paul is. They can't just go pull his GPS monitor. So we actually put some safeguards around that.
Good.
We increased some money to probation overall, just making sure probation has more assistance for their probation officers. Ironically, we prioritized restitution of payments to victims. People don't know this, but right now the order was the county gets paid first, and then the victim gets paid second. And oftentimes the victim doesn't get paid restitution; it goes to the county. And we switched that and said, no, the victim's got to be paid. And then we started this 80% parole eligibility, which was kind of the controversial part, where 80% of your uh, maximum date, your jam out date, you're eligible for parole. Doesn't mean you're getting out, but you're eligible for at least try to build that transition in so people aren't jamming out. And we're forming a committee to help look at some sentencing stuff. And we also, part of this bill is, believe it or not, many of our correction officers in prison don't have Kevlar vests,
Mm.
so they get stabbed. And unfortunately, yes, 2 days ago, before this bill, 7 officers down in Lincoln were stabbed.
Mm.
Wow.
And so, actually, that changed a couple votes. There are a couple people who watched the news down in Lincoln and were like, "We didn't know this was part of your bill, and now that we know, and this is a big issue, we think we're going to pass it." So we picked up a couple votes that way. But it's unfortunate that it takes something like that to get people to see kind of where we are. But so it's a step in the right direction. It ain't by no way be all end all, but it's a start and it's a good framework that we can build off of.
That's what's up, man. Congratulations on that. The governor, I heard a rumor that the governor said everything that went through today would not be vetoed. Brother McKinney, how do you feel about how do you feel based on the conversation stuff you had with him, whether or not we need to worry about him going back on that? There's a lot of reneging going on in there in the scene. Seems like to me all the time. I'd be mad, but go ahead, let us
No, I
know.
don't think he gonna go back on it. I would be very surprised. I think everything that gets signed, they put that notice out that anything that didn't get signed before we ended yesterday would be signed. So
Okay.
I think it's all good.
Okay, you feel the same way, brother Wayne?
Yeah, I feel I'm feeling good about it.
That's what's up. Question from the chat. Wanda Lewis says, "How did it go with the parole board members being present most often?"
So that was one of the. There was two. How do I say that? There was two negatives from the filibuster. One was Terrell had a bill in my committee, Judiciary Committee, that had the votes to get out to shake up the parole board, but because of the filibuster, we couldn't get it attached anywhere, so it couldn't go nowhere. And the second one was Ernest Jackson, my bill. Both of those bills you got to run just independently, just because of the nature of the controversy of parole and Ernest Jackson situation. And you can't take a chance of attaching it to a good bill and killing that good bill. But those are two bills that had the momentum to get out of committee and had momentum on the floor, but we couldn't. There wasn't enough time in the day to move them anywhere.
Man, that's unfortunate. Man. Yeah, I'm glad you remind us about that. I mean, we there's always a question about what the filibuster ended up. We knew that something was going to suffer. Some things were going to suffer. We didn't know quite what.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that you just mentioned too. I'm sure some other things did too. Um, so yeah, this is good to know. Um, the other I guess what I'm wondering about. So before we get to this other question I have about like some of the shenanigans that went down the last few days. I know there was a bunch of people trying to put stuff in, and every time I tuned in, somebody was on the mic getting real loud about some things. But before we get to that question, just what's you guys general? I mean, I thought you guys might be coming on here today like hype, celebrating. This thing is over. We won some things. Like yeah, y'all feel a little somber right now. Like what?
Nah, bro, we had a late night last night.
Oh, y'all party last night. That's what happened. Okay.
Yeah, celebration. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
This there
I
That's
said,
that's
damn,
that's,
Terrell, 7:30 coming early in the morning, boy. We're going to get
that's
up.
why Senator McKinney is in an undisclosed location right now. I understand
mm-hmm,
that.
mm-hmm.
Got it. Got it.
No,
All right.
overall, I think this year was a huge year. But it's also that we got to implementation of things is kind of always sketchy. But I think it was a huge year for us, and yeah, it was 2 nights in a row of us, having some celebration. So
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I'm
Glad
gonna
to
get
hear
my
it.
hair cut today, and I'm gonna take a nap.
Word.
Okay. Sounds like a decent day. Sounds like a decent day.
Tony
Well,
Johnson.
yeah.
Tony Johnson 12. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I feel good. I'm just relieved it's over, man. Just honestly,
I
we
bet.
put a lot of things in perspective when you think about we got 531, we got 50. We've also got a bill passed to deal with hair discrimination in schools.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes, yes.
Got another one to stop schools from suspending pre-K to second graders.
Yes.
And
Success.
it's all stuff me and Senator Wayne kind of work together hand to hand. One of us might have introduced it, but we worked together to make sure that type of stuff got passed. So it's some stuff we got done. It was some stuff we didn't that I wish we would have, but it is what it is. You take the good with the bad.
Right, right. And I actually was going to ask about, some of the things that you wish you maybe could have done, but you kind of mentioned something that we didn't get into last episode. In Omaha World Herald reporting on more than 20 education bills passed in one single package. We didn't really get into education bills, but do know that was kind of a hot topic throughout the session. Where do you think now that things are over, where do you think we are with the education and some of the bills that were passed?
It was some good ones that passed. I still think it's a lot of stuff we got to do within education I, to address a lot of the issues that our kids are dealing with. But I think that education package was cool. Then it was some more money went to OPS for special ed and some other stuff. So I thought it was cool. I ain't on the education committee no more. Senator Wayne is, so he had to go through all those days this year.
Okay.
Tell us
Well,
about them. Tell us about them days, brother Wayne.
No, it was 5 days a week of everybody saying no.
mm,
So you got 2 days on education where the education committee comes in and we sit there and meet and all the superintendents and everybody says education's fine. Then I got judiciary 3 days a week, Wednesday through Friday, and everybody comes, all the county attorneys come in and say no, everything's fine. So any idea is a no. It was 5 days a week of just no's. But
Mm,
education overall, the problem is it's hard to local control. I mean, we
mm,
elect a local school board, and they're the ones who have to run that school system. Um, but we did secure them an extra $30 million a year for each year for funding out of 300 million. So they're getting 10% of that. So that was a win for us to get something to OPS. But overall, our outcomes and our behaviors and the issues that are going on in school, I mean, we all got to jump in and help our school board and make sure we got the right people on the school board to turn this ship around.
mm-hmm. So
yeah.
that's okay. Okay, that kind of clarifies one thing that we've been having as far as the school board conversation, and we are trying to get some people from the school board on to kind of also help further clarify some things. But as far as just levels of control, you're saying the local level, that school board is kind of where the buck stops as far as implementation and what really happens.
Absolutely, I was on the school board. That's where it's at, and I mean, for me, and I saw, Fulton's post about Linehan Wayne's 753. For me, that it's about empowering parents, and I don't believe that a parent shouldn't be able to send their kid to a school just because of income.
Mm,
That's just what if Nebraska says that we supporting education everywhere, then we got to figure out ways to make sure that, and we just got to be honest, like public schools and private schools. Not all of them are perfect for their kid. So why should Paul, who maybe wants to go to a school down the street, be limited because his parents can't afford to send a kid there? Like I got a fundamental problem with that. And what's crazy is it's only K through 12, right? We don't worry about privatization and money going to private daycares and pre-K, and we damn sure don't worry about it at the college level. That's why you got Creighton and UNO. I mean, but somehow K-12 is this magical thing where we can't empower parents to make a choice. I
mm.
just disagree with that. And so,
Interesting.
people, not everybody agrees with me on that. And I get a lot of flack in the community, but at the same time, you ask the teachers who are in some of these schools, none of their kids go there.
Oh wow. Mm. Yeah, on the surface for me, it does. It seems like it does. I kind of agree. You should be able to have this choice. I know that Omaha, that the public schools are suffering really bad though too. But
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like the work is being done to increase funds to the public schools to solve some of those problems, and then ultimately it's up to the board to get a superintendent in there and make some things happen. So
Yeah.
I guess understanding like the limited situation that the legislation can do, basically can raise more funds and make some suggestions, but they have to make the final decision. It sounds like to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that, I mean, it goes like the city of Omaha. Like people think we could solve the pothole problem in Omaha, and that's not our lane, right? That's the city of Omaha. We can set up some overall structures for OPS, but at the same time, OPS came down and testified against suspending pre-K students.
Mm,
So, I mean, they were the main opposition they submitted a letter, but it was the opposition at the education hearing for McKinney's bill. So we're balancing that, and then we try to say, um, we try to say like, well, OPS, we're going to help you with this. We're going to help you get some more money, but at the same time, they're cutting their levy rates, so they don't.
Mm.
They're signaling to the state, we don't need more money.
Right.
You look
Right.
at you look at Millard, you look at West Side, they're doing levy overrides damn near every 2 or 3 years to make sure they have a high enough levy to have the programs they want. And it's not a knock on OPS because I know how hard it is to do a levy override, but at the same time, you got to signal to the state that you need more money.
mm.
What are you doing to make sure you're maximizing your resources?
They got a lot of
Man.
resources to maximize too.
Man, yeah, we as far as we've learned, they got a budget of a whole entire city. But teachers leaving, not getting paid, bus drivers not, all in shambles. Yeah, really wondering what's going on.
We are working on having Brianna Full come on before the end of this season, and then we've been talking to her about coming on regularly next season, and talking about what's going on in the school system. So we'll keep working on that. Also, we did put out a call to Brother Ricky Smith, and we haven't gotten any response back on that yet. Just to let the chat chimers know.
Mm-hmm.
Also, jumping into the chat real quick, Tony Johnson 12 is asking, can you guys host ongoing community sessions on what we as a community need to do now with these bills, like the working meetings North Omaha used to have in the 60s? Yeah, you guys open to do some of those kinds of round tables or whatever you call them? Talk to the people, town halls.
Yeah, I mean, we did a bunch earlier this year. I mean, I don't got no problem doing them. It's just time and location. I've
Yeah,
already thinking about doing something. Maybe not this month, but in July sometime. But
that's what's up.
I'm I'm never against it. It's just when and where.
And yeah, putting it together. Marianne Williams says you guys accomplished a lot in one of the most contentious sessions, and throwing some love your way there. Stephen Abraham says good way to work for the people, senators. Also, Tony Justin 12 says each of these bills great opportunity for Omaha elected to work with community on understanding implementing.
Looks like we
Uh,
lost Senator Wayne.
yep, looks like he's back.
Okay.
All right, you back? Can you hear us?
Cock cable strikes again.
Cable, bro. Also, let's see. Pop says, I am moved. I see you on my screen now. Four great men. Oh, thanks, Pops, who are changing lives. We love and appreciate y'all. That's what's
Man,
up.
thank you.
Von Chapman says, is giving more money to OPS the solution to their problems? That is a good question.
Yeah,
Brother McKinney, what would you have to say to that?
No, I don't think it's a. I don't think it's just a money issue. It's a cultural issue. It's a
mm,
culture. I think the environment within the OPS needs to change, and that's. I think it needs to start at the tech building. I mean, it's easy to say the kids are bad and all that type of stuff, and blame the teachers some type of way. But I think it start at the administration level. I think if you had a, it starts with the head. People always say it starts at home. It starts at home in OPS at the tech building.
mm.
That's
Right.
what that whole environment and that culture needs to change.
Man,
Man, that's
the
yeah.
culture needs to change.
Yeah, I have to agree. I have to agree. I was kind of curious where you were going with the culture, but yeah, the culture of the organization of what do you think that culture is now? What do you how would you characterize the culture currently?
I think it's a more like a top down approach from what I've heard from teachers and people within, and like pretty much like a dictatorship.
You know what?
Wow.
That has reminded me, and I would have to agree, and that kind of begs the question even more so about what really is going on with the board, what really is going on with the administration at OPS, because we've tried to have conversations with teachers. Uh oh, Q, yeah, mute or something. But yeah, we've had conversations with teachers.
Hey, brother Wayne, you gonna put your headphones on?
Oh man. Hopefully we'll figure it out. But yeah, we've tried actually. I wouldn't even say we had conversations. We've tried to have conversations with teachers about some of the things that they're dealing with or some of the things that are going on in schools. And a lot of teachers have said that they are afraid of retaliation or can't really speak to media for fear of being fired and things like that. And the question has still not been answered as far as who are you afraid of, or who is really putting the hammer down so much on teachers that they can't speak at all, and there's actually, like you said, a culture of fear that permeates throughout most of the schools.
That's true, man. I forgot about
Yeah, you just kind of reminded me of that,
all.
which again adds on to what really is going on with the board and just OPS in general.
Yeah. Well, say we'll keep on talking about that for sure. And I appreciate everybody in the chat that's saying that too. We Marianne Williams says we talk about institutional racism all the time, but hate to call it out in public schools.
Ooh,
Tell them.
ooh. I
Uh,
mean, look at what they did to Sharif.
Come on, bro. Brother Lawaru trying to do his job. Tony Johnson 12 says the public passing of responsibilities from the senators to local elected and community leaders would help change culture and hold people accountable. Okay. Public passing of responsibilities. Okay.
I agree. I just think people gotta want to be held accountable though,
Mm-hmm.
and let the egos go. I don't.
That
That's
part.
the biggest thing. A
That
lot of
part.
people get in these positions and don't like a lot of accountability. So that's gonna be a toughest task.
Yeah. Brother Wayne, welcome back. We talking a little bit about Brother McKinney said it's the culture over there at OPS is the reason why things are like they are. It's kind of a dictatorship, top down, and trying to talk about it, discussing some of these issues, and how all of us can actually help that culture, that situation. Now, you got any thoughts on that?
We just got to show up. We got to show up to people's schools, not when we get a phone call, but before we get a phone call.
Mm.
Mm.
We gotta go to the board meetings, not when something's gonna come after us. We gotta be there ahead of time. I mean, like I'm about to call Cox Cable and have some problems with them today.
Yeah, might need that Google Fiber.
Von Chapman in the chat says, does the culture run counter to your efforts to both juvenile justice center overcrowding and reform, and the same with prison overcrowding and reform?
Yeah,
it's,
as far as the
it's
preschool pipeline.
it's the same. It's the exact same pipeline. The kids who are having trouble in OPS are the ones who are in our juvenile system. And if you look at those in the juvenile system, I think we got like a 70 to 80% recidivism rate from juvenile to adult. So clearly, we missing the boat here.
Man, they
Hmm.
trading the juvenile justice center schools for juvenile justice centers, basically.
And so that's a good example. That's a topic right now with term limits, and this is why term limits are bad. We couldn't even tackle that conversation in judiciary this year.
Mm.
Yeah, we was having a hard time just understanding it, for people to understand. We have 4 new senators on judiciary, so half of my committee is brand new, and they didn't even understand sentencing and how it even works. They don't understand. You in county court, then you get bound over to district. Like none of that process is even clear to them. They were
Right.
learning on the fly, and it's no knock to them. It's just it is what it is. So juvenile by itself, that's such a complicated mess. Um, we couldn't even tackle it. We started having a conversation about juvenile, a motion to transfer bill, and they were all looking at me like, "Wait a minute, what?" And I was like, "You know what? We gonna have to. That's gonna have to be over the summer and over the fall of us helping you understand kind of where we are."
Mm. Um. Man. But I'm just thinking about all of it coming to a head as far as lack of jobs, poor education system. lack of housing, where lack of programs, where is all of this going? And of course the state is building more prisons, and now we have more mental health beds.
And
Um,
juvenile justice centers.
right. So the conversation for what's going on with the juveniles is definitely something that we'll be looking forward to, seeing how it plays out, and how we can shape that next
And
year.
here's the reality, y'all. The reason our prisons are getting crowded is because of these 19 to 25-year-olds who are getting 40, 50-year sentencing.
Mm,
So our actual intake and admission has gone down, but the increased length of sentences is becoming the problem. That's because we got these juveniles who are at 12 catching felonies, and then they go to juvenile court, then they turn 19. For whatever reason, we haven't surrounded them with the right people, and then they catch a robbery, and now they're doing 30. And then when they get out, we expect them to be able to just go function in a new tech job. It's like that the whole time they've been in and out the system, YRTC, wherever, and that, yeah, that's a problem that we have to figure out, or it's not going to solve anything.
I've been saying this for a little while now. Even though I don't have any kids, and no kids in OPS. OPS is still something that needs to be on our minds in a big way, because as big as the situation is, it really affects everything else in our city. It really affects
mm-hmm.
all of us in every aspect of it. So, like we saying, we really showing it now. You're really bringing it to the forefront right now. Just talking about this whole, they call it the preschool to prison pipeline, but you just kind of explain what it is. Kids at 12 years old getting in trouble, and then not getting the support they need up until they're adults, come right out and keep on doing what they've been doing since 12, and now they in for 30, 40 years, and that's really unfortunate.
And
um
there's this weird balance though, Paul. It's a weird balance of parental rights versus this nanny state of what I would say white saviors coming in saying, I know what's best for your community. We're going to take care
Mm,
of your kids. We're going to put them in this institution starting at 4 years old,
mm,
and we're going to raise them. It's a balance that's really hard to keep. I mean, not to mention Bill Cosby, but I remember when Bill Cosby got a whole bunch of heat because he told basically black parents, get your act together. Y'all the reason your kids is bad, right? And there was this
right.
mm-hmm.
huge pushback. And so it's that balance that you got to find. And it's, man, education, OPS in general. People got to remember OPS is our biggest human capital producer in the state. When
Mm.
you think about human capital in the future, we got 55,000 people in there every year.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Big percentage of them is coming out and ended up in prison, and like that's and in every other aspect, it being, coming out, just being neighbors, coming out, working in the community, coming out, leaving the area. There's big everything that's going on at OPS. There's so many people, so many people coming out of there, like you said, that human capital that is amazing. It affects every aspect of life in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
interesting.
But it's not just OPS culture, Senator McKinney. I mean, COVID taught us that when OPS shut down, there were no more youth sports. You had
Yeah.
nowhere to practice.
Again, the programs. Yeah.
And so these kids are sitting around playing Fortnite or whatever, and then you don't have no communication skills and know how to deal with people in real life. And you think it's just you can hit the reset. And that's not how it works. Like, sometimes you gotta go through a struggle and keep going through it. And these kids don't have to experience any of that. It's just video games and isolation. And we gotta make sure that we got youth sports. I mean, hell, there's not even a baseball real program. We have the pace, but that's it. There's not baseball no more in North Omaha. Kellum League's gone. You got to go to 204th Street to watch a basketball game.
Mm.
Uh, like volleyball, we got a couple organizations, but we ain't nowhere like TVA and all these ones out west. And uh, yeah, I mean, we just don't have that. I mean, there was when I was growing up, there was at least 5 or 6 wrestling programs. How many are there now? So, I mean,
In North Omaha, it's just one. Well, two.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
almost one.
And then we got football with the BAA. I had my little nephew my sister had her son over in the little junior NBA thing, but I don't think that's continuing on. I'm not really hearing about a whole lot of sports programs, and
Yeah.
to your point. What can we do? What can kids do?
Yeah, I mean,
I would
I
tell
had
you, for
my
me, that's my
son.
focus going forward next year. Next year, my thing after this session, I told McKinney, I said, look, my goal is that Omaha will be the number one youth sport, uh, kind of like arena in the country. We're in the Midwest. We should be
Okay.
getting people from Minnesota, Kansas City. We got people like there's people right now who drive to Kansas City 2 to 3 times a month for soccer.
Wow.
Like in North and South Omaha, they piling in cars and going down. And I'm like, that used to be Kellum Basketball League. I remember people from Kansas City used to come up here and play Saturday on Kellum. And I remember on Saturday, it was Kellum and walk down to McDonald's. Like that was your Saturday. Just, even if you didn't play, it was just that's what people were.
Man,
We just don't have
actually, I
that no
remember
more.
those days. I remember those days.
Wow. You don't got it no more. I'm gonna jump into the chat before we get to. It's about 8:26 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, I definitely want to get to some of the shenanigans of the last few days of the legislature, just so we can have a little laugh before we get out of here. But jumping into the chat real quick, Tony Johnson 12 says, let's see. I had to go up a little bit further. Marlon Harrison said, to me, it's 50-50. Half responsibility comes from the top of OPS. The others come from parents. Most parents do not come to the school and work with school.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, a lot of people working and don't have time to come down there for sure. Tony Joshua 12 says, appreciate McKinney and Wayne, but why are they only ones talking to us about these issues? You have to ask some other people, other folks.
Right. All they can control is what
Nah,
they
no,
do.
nah. Let me go. We're gonna tell the real story on that. Y'all was
Okay.
calling us out about 1024, and me and McKinney said we going on the show. We gonna have a real conversation with them.
Where they
That's
at?
how it all started. Look, it's all right though.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's my point. Like we want you guys to come on, so anybody who has any questions about any of that stuff can ask directly. So I'll put it out there to the chat again. Ask directly. We had we you took up our whole beginning of the show, in this conversation, waiting for these brothers to come on out of here. Where you at? I'll just put it out there like that. Where you at? Marianne Williams says, I'm so glad we're talking about this in a real way. I feel like I've been saying it, screaming it for years now, and it falls on deaf ears. That's
Mm.
Brother Knight said, maybe y'all should sponsor a whoop a kid ass bill.
There's a proverbs, spare the spirit of rod, spoil the child.
Yeah,
That is a saying.
slippery slope around here, bro. You be pistol whipping kids in
I'll
school
let
now. But
I'll let McKinney do that next year. I'll pass.
Mama Guy says, my grands came up in Millard recently, and it's all sports for all kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say my son was in basketball and cello, but again, those that was like one programs through the Omaha Conservatory, Music Conservatory. So you got to go out to 72nd. Another one, the basketball program, they practice at Croc Center, so you had to go all the way down south. So yeah, as far as North Omaha, I don't know. I don't know where those are.
Well, we building a facility.
Man,
We secured $35 million to build a 10 to 12 court basketball facility and a sports facility in North Omaha. Terrell trying to take one of the courts from me and put wrestling in it. We go, and I want some pickleball. You know,
okay.
That's what's up.
Marlon Harrison, though, I do agree. Marlon Harrison says track is huge in Omaha. We got 9 summer track teams. I do know that track is very, very huge
Yeah.
in Omaha. It has been for a while and continues to be.
We got Olympic pools and stuff here, man, and
Yeah.
they do Olympic tryouts and stuff here, and of course College World Series baseball. I ain't, I'm not a big fan of a whole lot of it, but I think that it's so prominent here in our city. Why isn't there more programs for youngsters to get into? My family been talking about wrestling forever. I
Wrestling.
come from L.A. I call it wrestling, but if I come out here, we got to call it wrestling, and a bunch of my family won a bunch of awards in it.
Hmm.
It's huge in this area. So it's kind of sad to hear we down to 2, maybe 1 program when it comes to that. So lots there, man. Senator Wayne, let's see, MEH. Senator Wayne is on to something with beefing up the sports. That would have a huge impact.
It would.
Yeah.
It would. And
so
there's a lot of
that's what they're doing out in. So if people don't know, 727 the bill, and it took me till final reading to figure out what we can do about it. And now I gotta wait till next year. But Linehan's going to support this. They are going to build. If you haven't been down to Kansas City, Legends Complex of about 12 soccer, five baseball fields, and they're just going to build that out there. And there's an article on there. I'll put it in the chat where they're going to spend a couple $100 million, and we gave them some tax incentives to do it out at not Rawson, but the Outlet Mall in Gretna. And then basically I sat down and McKinney sat down with a whole bunch of senators saying this is going to kill youth sports in East Omaha. And I explained to them OSA and all that out west. And again, we just ran out of time because we were doing negotiations on 531 and everything else. But we think we got away with the turnback tax to boost and maintain our sports complexes and our sports things that we're trying to do in North Omaha. So that'll be a bill for next year that we've already got the support to get it done. But yeah, they building a $1 billion facilities out in Gretna.
Wow, man, that's a trip. Let's it's already 8:31, man. We usually let you go around this time, but we gotta hear give us some story about some of the shenanigans that went down. We gotta hear some. We gotta get some juice. Ariel's 402 said, "Why Senator Hudson always picking on Senator McKinney?" You got any comment on that?
I don't know who Senator Hudson is, and nobody.
You got the wrong name there, Mayor Sanchez. Let us know who you talk about there. But yeah, let us know, man. We all become hip to the idea that they're always trying to throw on an amendment or something last minute and sneak some stuff in and so on and so forth. Any of those kinds of shenanigans go down the last couple of days?
Yeah, on LB 50, the appropriations chair tried to IPP my bill, which is kill my bill on final reading, and he didn't like the way it came out. But he didn't know that I did my due diligence of working with the speaker and other committee chairs. So basically, I have an 8-member committee. But when Senator Geis resigned, there was 3 weeks where they appointed a new senator, Senator Bosin. But for whatever reason, the committee on committee didn't seat her in our committee, so she couldn't even vote in our committee. So I started going back through the rules and looking at the history, and that by rules changes my committee to a 7-person committee. Well, I knew I had 4 votes to get the bill out. I knew once she got on the committee, it was going to be deadlocked, and we probably wouldn't even get LB 50 out. So we had an exec session, and we voted it out. And one of the Republicans got up and stormed out. Holcroft was like, "I know what you're doing," and stormed out. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting this to the floor one way or another. That's my job. I got to get this done this year." And so he didn't know that I had the speaker's support. I had everybody's support because we couldn't wait. We had to get the bill moving, and we had to get negotiations going. And the only way to do that was to put pressure on people once it got to the floor, which worked out. I mean, the committee, Holcroft and all them ended up supporting, even talking positive about the bill. But you gotta know the rules so you can navigate this place down here.
Yeah,
gotta play the game.
Brother Terrell McKinney, let us know about that very thing that Brother Wayne's talking about right now. You got to know the rules. You got to know how to play the game. What's your impression of this session as a whole? What did you learn out of this year?
I think it could have been better if we walked in with some strategy. My impression.
You ain't talking about me and you now. You talking about we got strategy.
I'm talking about you. But yeah,
you've been playing chess. You talking about strategy with the
other ones,
right. The allies.
I don't know. It was just chaotic the whole time. It was, you never knew what was gonna happen every day. It was something every day, literally.
Yeah.
That's
for real. Not fake. Not the fake kind of reality TV, but real reality TV.
Man,
in a big way.
No, but I think the good thing though is they were doing what they were doing, and we were able to work, under the chaos and get the things we was trying to get done. So that was good. It kept us off the mic. It kept us from probably jumping over the table too far on some people.
Right.
Yeah. As the one Shaq Chalmers mentioned earlier, got a lot accomplished in one of the, very contentious sessions. So
Yeah.
You know,
Appreciate that.
I
celebrate,
mean, to
celebrate.
put things in perspective, even with the filibuster, we passed just as many bills as we actually passed more bills than we usually pass. We just did it a different way by having a whole bunch of bills added to other bills.
Mm.
So, I mean, from that perspective, we everybody still had a good year. Um, I don't know. I mean, the biggest thing this year was passing the baton for me.
Yeah,
There wasn't a meeting that I went to that I didn't bring McKinney with, and to see how the leadership now that he's on the urban affairs chair, how these leadership conversations go, and how they set the stage for the whole session. They set the stage for each week, and so, just doing that. Nobody did it well. It was done for me. And as much as people don't like, Senator State Treasurer Morante, he helped me out. He did that for me. He put me in the room, and I got to see things for myself. Now he didn't have as many open conversations as me and McKinney have, but just being in the room and kind of learning. And I think that's the biggest thing is what we don't do in North Omaha is we don't pass the baton. We still got a lot of old heads who still wanna run things, and we got to pass the baton.
Yeah. Well said. You're not back here next year, right?
I got one more year. I just don't want to be back here.
Keep it a bean.
So you got one more year, and then do you have you been working? We gonna ask you again. What's the succession plan? You got somebody in mind we need to be talking to now? What's
I'm gonna work on that this summer. Trying to figure it out, and to me, it goes back to that word we keep using this year: nuances. Like it's the nuance of things. You can't just hop up on one party line and have a zero sum game because it don't work for us.
right? I hear you, man. Well, I tell you what, we got about 2 more weeks left in our season 5 here. Teamwork makes the dream work. We'd love to have you back next weekend, the week after, roll out the rest of the season with us, and 'cause I'm sure there's more questions that's coming up. But also, just to kind of decompress and recap what happened during the session and so on and so forth. And hopefully, the next 2 sessions, if you guys ride with us, will be a lot lighter. We can have a little bit more of a good time talking about some ideas that we want to get on with next year, and what the plan is and who we can talk to and all that stuff. And then let's talk about season 6 and what we can do. Maybe we can do some of that kind of town hall stuff we was talking about, like do a couple live sessions once a month or something like that, and just steady help us come up with ideas about how we can keep on reaching out to the fam and to the public, and getting people and just learning and understanding the process, man. Really, I've learned more this season about the process than I have ever in my whole life combined. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys coming on here and breaking things down the way that you have. Really, I've never really been interested in any of it, but now I'm like, I wonder if I can play a little 3-tier, little 3D chess around here too. Like once you start understanding the process and seeing what you guys are going through, most definitely. When we have you back, if you come back next week, Brother McKinney, we specifically want to ask you too about how you navigated this session. We had a question last show talking about how people were working with having to work full-time jobs and only getting paid 12 grand a year and got families and all these things, man. And I don't know if you want to share any of that next week, but think about what you want to share, because we are very curious about how it is. Megan Hunt's coming on next week, and we're gonna ask her too. I think we know some of that answer, but how do legislative, how do you navigate being there every day during a session when you need to work and have a family and everything else that you got going on too? School. We're gonna ask you too, Brother Wayne, but we're gonna ask everybody. We're trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure out until they change that law where they up the pay. Then we're gonna try to figure out some strategies to get some more people in seats and figure out how it can be done. So we'll definitely talk about it. But I appreciate you guys. You guys, any last words you guys want to leave us with here before we get going? Where's the party at? When is the big? You guys already been partying, but when is the open to the public party happening?
Man, I don't know. I'm a little frustrated. The first time I get nominated to be Grand Marshal of the Omaha Day parades, Bud want to go and have his fight the same day. So I'm like,
oh man,
yeah, like every time I try to get something, something, man. So I'm like, can I be the grand marshal in Vegas? Like, we just ride down the strip. I don't know what we're
Man,
gonna do. It's just not, yeah.
Omaha, they take over Vegas.
Yeah.
That's man. People just going to go at this point. It's people calling me talking. We just gonna go to go. I'm like, man, I'm me and McKinney, the grand marshal. We gonna be riding down a 24th or 30th with nobody on the sides. They all gonna be in Vegas. It's gonna be like the what was the NBA, the bubble? They're gonna have just the videos of people out in Vegas waiting. we gonna be throwing candy at screens. Hey.
Oh man, I don't know, but I think you still gonna have some folks out there, man. Me and Buddy was talking about trying to hit that fight. Them tickets is a grip. We got to figure out if we can afford it. There'll be a lot of people in Omaha still. So
man, you know how they just gonna go out and stand outside talking about they was there.
Yeah. Just think about doing the same.
Yeah, I was like, don't call us out. Don't call us out. We're just thinking about doing the same.
No, man, I just man, we still gotta grab a cigar or a drink over at in the Benson area, but no, my advice, man, is just it's gonna be a little bit hot this weekend, but man, enjoy yourself, man. Take care of your loved ones, tell them you love them, and just enjoy yourself because this world is crazy.
That's what's
Man,
up.
that's a fact. That's a fact.
Buddy's gonna be out here coming up, so we're gonna do a Chad Chambers kickback when he gets in town. So we'll definitely we need to hook up on that Jake's venture before that. But when he comes out, want to make sure that you guys come through because all the Chad Chambers are like, are the senators coming to the kickback? Everybody's excited. So I hope we can work out a date to where you guys can come on through, talk to some folks face to face.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'll be there. Just gotta have some security. That's all.
Hey, yeah, we'll make sure it's a safe, good time.
So we call Brother Kasim. You know how we do.
Yeah.
Brother McKinney, you got some last words for the people?
Probably just echo the same thing. Just take some time for yourself, your family, relax. And it's the weekend. Just chill. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do, and try to have fun.
That's what's up, man.
There you go.
Appreciate it. I gotta say, Brother McKinney, man. Every time I'm watching you in the session, when I'm watching, I'm just, I get so proud, bro. The way that you speak and the way that you remind people, it's all power to the people. The way that you tie in historical quotes, the way that you control yourself when you ready to jump over the table. I don't got no other point of reference. I just started watching, but I'm impressed by watching what you're doing, knowing that you brand new to this. So appreciate you, bro, and appreciate you, Brother Wayne, for like you said, passing the baton, bro. That's what it's all about.
Need more of it. Set the example.
Yep. All right, fellas. All
right, y'all be easy. Don't party too hard. And Paul, yeah, let's link up, man. I'm around this weekend.
Oh, as a matter of fact, my birthday is June 4th. I'll be the big 50 years old on Sunday. So yeah. So I live around.
That means you want to do a brunch because you don't want to hang out late. Yes,
he already know the vibes.
Right.
He already know the vibes,
bro. That's what I'm sure going to brunch on Sunday. I'm sure going to brunch. You absolutely right. Man. Yeah. So maybe I might hit you on that day, man. And I'll be in. After that brunch and after that nap, I might come out in the early evening and hit Jake's up. So I'll give you a call.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all. Y'all be easy.
You too, man.
All right,
man. Peace.
Man, he knows what the old heads is gonna do.
He know the vibes.
That's really real. Hey, we'll take a quick break and come on back. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
Yeah.
Paul Beeee, the Dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Chad Chambers, Ghost listeners, radio listeners, everybody. We'll take a quick break and come right back. Stay tuned. We got new music coming. There it is. Oh, right near the beach. That's where I wish I was this weekend.
Soon enough.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah, Paul Beeee, the Dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, thanks for everybody that jumped into the chat. If you missed any parts of that interview or any parts of the show, you can always go back and watch it in its entirety on Facebook or YouTube. And when you do, jump into the chat. Lots going on in the chat today for sure, man. Appreciate everybody that's contributed. That's what's up. Definitely appreciate that, and appreciate all the conversation that's going on here too, man. That's really what this is all about. So thank you. Like Stacey Jean says, thank you, Senator McKinney and Senator Wayne. I appreciate your efforts on our behalf. So do we. Appreciate that very, very much.
Yeah, man.
Pops in the chat. Trump is now selling Trump dollars as investments. One Trump dollar will equal 1,000 in the future.
He says.
He says, and can be redeemed at banks now. Banks are turning these investors away in droves. Interesting, man. We've been talking a lot about how the country is leaning towards this electronic currency that they're going to try to go to. Trying to get rid of crypto, trying to get rid of Bitcoin and everything else, and go and do this kind of U.S. electronic standard and get rid of cash and all these things. And I'm already hearing Republican senators chiming up. We're gonna have cash in our state. Already getting ready for some kind of civil war or some kind of something. Like it's a trip. And here's Trump selling Trump dollars.
Man, can't make it up, man. Can't make it up.
Yeah,
and people are actually going to the bank to redeem.
Yeah. Yeah. Not me. Not
Yeah.
I.
Amy H. Dow says, I thought he got in trouble for his Trump dollars. I don't know. I don't know.
Moving on, we're going to go ahead and do a little lightning round. We had a few more things to talk about today, so let's get to it. Appreciate you guys in the chat talking to each other, checking each other, and everything else. That's what's up. Appreciate you. As far as stories are concerned, Buddy, let's get into a little lightning round before we get to the haps.
Yeah, man. Before we get out of here, a few stories that we have not really had time to dive into, but we still want to inform you on, let you know what's going on. Of course, still talking about the session, a lot of contentious bills and just conversations being had, and at the center of a lot of that, of course, were the bills pertaining to abortion, gender affirming care, LGBTQIA rights, and things like that. And it seems like the state now has a lawsuit on its hands. KMTV reporting that the ACLU of Nebraska has announced that they will sue the state over the passage of the Let Them Grow Act, which restricts abortion and gender affirming care in the state. According to the ACLU, the Nebraska Constitution contains language, no bill shall contain more than one subject. It is basing the legal challenge to the bill based on that clause. This is actually something we talked about on this show in regards to that bill, which did, again, conjoin those two issues as far as abortion rights and the 12-week ban, and also gender affirming care for those, I believe, under the age of 19. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that bill. Remember, that is also the bill that Senator Michaela Cavanaugh, filibustered earlier this year. So again, there's still a lot of contention left with that bill. We'll definitely keep our eyes out on that situation. Another contentious bill that we should definitely be looking out for, especially as we prepare for the 2024 election, is the voter ID bill. Again, this was something that we've seen go to petition. We have some questions about that petition. Again, reminding you that the Ricketts family, particularly his mom, mostly pay, I believe, for 80 to 90% of the funds that were used for that petition were paid for by the Ricketts family. So again, now here we are, fast forward, and it is a bill. Lawmakers have adjourned the session, and the bill did pass. And now we're still waiting to see details and exactly how this bill will be implemented. Again, a lot of questions about this voter ID. Again, essentially requiring in-person votes to show a state-approved photo ID, such as driver's license, college ID, nursing home ID. But still, again, a lot of questions about what that means for mail-in votes. Will you need notoriety or need your vote to be notarized? A lot of questions about what this actually means for voting moving forward. So we'll definitely continue to keep our eyes on that situation. But also moving forward in other news, Front Porch nonprofit has awarded loans and grants to spark more area affordable housing. This being reported by Nebraska Examiner, our partners over there. About 16 different organizations collectively have been awarded $11 million in low interest loans and grants to create more affordable housing in the Omaha area. Of course, Front Porch Investments is at the center of this. They said that this effort should generate about 221 dwellings and help launch 4 new housing programs as well as 4 planning grants for the community. The the nonprofit said it received about 41 applications, totaling about $35 million in requests. The funding is made possible through, again, ARPA funds that have been set aside for affordable housing specifically. There are other rounds that will be going through. Front Porch Investments, awards include a $10 million in loan interest loans, both short and long term, as well as $1.4 million in grants. So again, big shout out to Flatwater and the organizations that receive funds through that. Again, if you are interested, definitely check them out. Front Porch Investments.
Interesting.
Yes, very interesting. And finally, to wrap up our lightning round, student loan debt relief. Still looking at what's going on with that situation. Earlier this month, it was reported that the House did pass a resolution that could block the move that was sent from the Biden administration again to block billions of dollars in student relief or student loan repayments that again many Americans are struggling with, especially in the wake of COVID-19. Of course, there's a lot of contention, a lot of conversation, not only in the Congress, but also in the Supreme Court. There's several Republican-led states, Nebraska being one of them, that have issued lawsuits and are challenging this move in the courts. So that decision is still being awaited. But in the wake of that, or while people are waiting on that, there's even still the possibility of this resolution passing the Senate and blocking it as well. So again, I don't know about y'all, but I could definitely use $20,000 in my student loan being knocked off. But again, we will still have to wait and see what happens. So yeah, that does it for our lightning round. Hopefully everyone caught that.
Yeah, man. Let us know what you think about that. I see a lot of talking in the chat, so appreciate that. You guys talking back and forth with each other as well. Amy H. Dot says Front Porch awarded to Brinshore tied to Canopy South. Okay, I can't remember what the significance of that is, so remind me. But yeah.
Reminding you, Canopy South was the organization that was looking to redevelop the South Terrace projects, and we were asking, kind of questioning how much involvement did the community have, and how that they're overseeing that situation.
There you go. So yeah, lots more to keep our eye on when it comes to that thing. There's so many mixed feelings about what Front Porch is up to, and just the general housing question in general, especially the question, what is affordable housing, that keeps coming up with all of this. So definitely more to talk about there, but yeah, appreciate that. And thanks for the lightning round there, letting us know what's happening in the news. Now let's talk about what's happening in the wherever.
What's the house? What's happening?
Smooth, Paul. Smooth.
Hey man, I'm 50. I'm going senile.
Oh, okay. You gonna pull that card already? Huh?
But speaking of pulling cards, AARP already sent me mine.
Oh, okay.
What's the house?
Hey.
It's time for some haps, man. We're gonna do a little bit of extensive haps today for sure. We got about 5 minutes left in the show, so we want to go ahead and jump into it because it is the weekend. What do you guys got going on this weekend? Let us know what's happening as well. Of course, this very important situation here. The 6th annual prayer walk and vigil is happening on Sunday.
Yeah, man.
We'll see if I can make it, man. After my brunch nap, we'll see if we can get down there. Start of the location is the Greyhound bus station, 1601 Jackson Street, Omaha. Meet us at the bus station at 4 p.m. and walk the same route that Zachary took to Speedy Mart for a vigil to remember him and call out police brutality to indigenous peoples. If you guys don't remember, he was basically murdered by the police. They used tasers on this cat so many times. And then they try to act like he died of what they quote unquote called excited delirium.
Man, whatever that is.
I will never forget them trying to Jim trying to act like he died. They made up a term, excited delirium, but really it was him getting tased 100+ times and beaten and died by the hands of the police. So yes, this is organized by Justice for Zachary Beerhill's Great Plains Action Society. I just can't even get over that. Like I still trip on them putting that. That was in their actual report.
Man,
He died of excited delirium. What in the world? How hard are you trying to make police not be accountable by coming up with some terms like that? What is that? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're around on Sunday, let's continue to support our Indigenous brothers and sisters and check out the 6th annual prayer walk and visual for Zachary Beerhill. Appreciate that very much.
man,
Whew, yeah, that's tough.
it is.
We'll go ahead and jump to what's going on with the Omaha Freedom Festival.
Hey, a couple weeks. Get your
couple weeks.
tickets.
Get your tickets early. This is the nighttime situation with Music Soul Child. Everybody's talking about Music Soul Child coming, and Life Jennings, and of course our own Anjali and Timeless. It's going to be an awesome show over at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, the Outside Plaza. That's happening on June 17th. That's the nighttime situation that's going on. I keep on missing. I must have erased the daytime flyer. That's the only thing I can think of. But the daytime flyer, there's all kinds of stuff going on, like this bike and helmet raffle. You can go to the grounds of the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation and engage in some food, fun, bring the kids, bring the family. There'll be a Juneteenth giveaway, a car given away to a donated vehicle awarded to a senior in high school or a freshman in college. And if you want more information on that, go to visit the website, which is OmahaFreedomFestival.com. You can get some more information on that there. But yeah, mark your calendars for that 17th, man. It's going down over there at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation for sure.
Man,
Appreciate that very much. Also, there's the celebration of fatherhood that's happening, that's coming up on June 18th. That's going to be In Vogue. Is going to be in the house over at the Orpheum. I kind of really want to go see In Vogue at the Orpheum, man. That ought to be real tight.
Yeah, man.
Beautiful.
Big shout out to Bill King, the whole boss situation.
Yeah. DJ Reggie C is going to be in the house.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad DJ Reggie C is over there working with the Boss Man over on 95.7 The Boss Man. So check him out. DJ Reggie C is the legend in Omaha as well, for sure. So he's over there working on with 95.7 The Boss now and doing some things. You see he's DJing this show. And then, of course, it's hosted by my main man, Joshua L. Stupo, who's a local, one of my favorite local comedians in Omaha and in the Midwest, really. And I love the fact that they're using a comedian to host the show. It's the best when that happens. So, yeah, get your tickets online. Go to ticketomaha.com. Orpheum Theater. You know where the Orpheum's at, on 16th Street over there. Celebration of Fatherhood. The 6th annual Father's Day Festival from Omaha Community Broadcasting. It's William King's company, 95.7 The Boss. Definitely check that out. And if you go to 95.7 The Boss and listen, you'll definitely hear some ads about it. And keep it front of mind. So definitely check out 95.7 The Boss. Also featuring Melissa Morgan. Don't want to leave her out. So definitely check it out, man. Celebration of Fatherhood coming up. Lots of good stuff happening this spring in a big way. Also, want to give a shout out to the Heart Ministry Center. First annual cook-off is going to be Friday, June 9th, 11 to 2. Live entertainment, yard games, food and refreshments, free smoke detectors, face painting, rib cook-off community contest. Lots going on that day in conjunction with the Culture House. It's going to be a hot corner that day for sure on June 9th, 11 to 2 p.m. So definitely check it out. Shout out to Heart Ministry Center for doing so many good community things, and definitely check participate. Go participate. He says you can contact Marcus. There's a phone number there, 531-444-6461, or at Marcus with a K at heartministrycenter.com if you wish to compete in the rib cook-off. Anybody got some ribs they want to throw in the cook-off?
Man, I might need Pops to bring his brisket through.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. I don't eat red meat, but I might need to indulge.
It's like that. Okay. Don't forget also as we hit the 9 o'clock hour, Vivian Strong street naming ceremony is happening on June 16th at 21st and Clark Street, and then the historical marker ceremony is happening July 28th at 24th and Blondo. So please join the family for these momentous events. We're looking forward to celebrating with the community. For those of you that don't know, Vivian Strong was a 14-year-old girl that got killed, shot in the back in the back of the head by a white police officer without warning. The killing sparked 3 days of what they say riots here in Omaha's black community. We call uprising, and that happened in 1969. And North Omaha has never been the same since. So that was a turning point for us, and now we're going to be honoring. It's a big deal. It's a big deal that they're able to do a street naming and a historical marker ceremony because they got so much pushback from the police. Of course, the police doesn't want to be on Front Street with that, with shooting somebody, and then we're honoring the person who got shot by the police. Puts them in a bad light. So you know how they feel about being in bad lights. They don't like it.
Especially after, waving the "we're the best police force in the country" flag for the last couple years.
The example for other states, right? Yeah, man. So shout out to Sherman Wells who did all that hard work and fight to make that happen, and definitely put that on your calendar, and we'll be out there and checking it out as well. That's it. It's 9:02 right now. I apologize for going past time, buddy. You got some words for the people?
Well, as always, man, of course, big shout out to the Senators, Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney, for taking the time out of their schedules, out of their mornings, to come speak with us, even waking up from celebrating and partying the last couple of days, which is much deserved. Again, big victories, big shout out to those brothers. And again, thank them for coming to speak with us. Also, big shout out to all of you, the chat chimers, for letting your mind be free, even if, we don't agree with whatever it is. I kind of understand what, I believe Brother Tony Johnson was saying as far as, people just commenting. We appreciate the comment. We appreciate the conversation. It still allows us to put out the thoughts, put out the energy that we want, because we can respond however we, choose to respond. And we choose to respond with love and respect, man. And hopefully we can all figure out things together. So appreciate y'all. Until next time, catch the same time, same place. Again, 2 weeks left in this season. Then it's to a break, however you want to call it. We're still gonna be working, still gonna be doing things. But we definitely appreciate y'all, man. So until next time, in the meantime, between time, Paul B, take it away.
Right on, man. Pop says, have a great weekend, everybody. Much love, and see you on Monday, God willing, and the creek don't rise. I heard that, Pops. Appreciate it. Stacey Jean says, great show. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much. And everybody else the Magic Johnson show. Sorry about that, Brother Chapman. I did want to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
That show is coming up
next
on
Friday.
June 9th, next Friday, right? CHI Health Center. Brother Magic Johnson will be there. 16th Annual Rebuilding the Village Conference. I appreciate you reminding me about that. I definitely wanted to talk about it since it's coming up here for sure. So there you go. I'm not sure if you can check it out. You check it out yourself. Go to the Empowerment Network and get some information there. Find out how much the tickets are for the luncheon. And if you can go check it out and report back. We'd love to hear about it.
Love to hear about it.
I can't afford to go, but we'll see what's happening. Mama God says, great weekend. Appreciate you very much. Yes, everybody have a great weekend. Marianne Williams says, have a great weekend. All thanks for everybody who has contributed and is chiming up and talking to each other and keeping each other straight and exchanging ideas and keeping each other in check and so on and so forth. That's what we're here for. Got to do it. But like Buddy said, we do everything with love and respect. So we're going to keep on doing that. And we really appreciate everybody who's following along with that tenet. And we'll keep on trying to do it ourselves as well. With that said, we're going to give thanks to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. We're going to give a shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them, and shout out to all of you, the chat chimers, for allowing us to speak with you. And we really appreciate that. As many people as we can, we'd like to bring into the conversation and have as many different opinions as we can so we can discuss them and break them down and hopefully get on the same page and make things happen. Amy H. Dot says, have a great weekend, y'all. Appreciate it. Yes, Amy H. Dot, my birthday on Sunday, for sure, the big 5-0.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'll be in a new decade when we come back next week. And speaking of next week, ladies and gentlemen, please tune in next week. We will be talking to John Houston. That is the wrong date on that flyer, but but we will fix the date on that flyer. But that did show us the last time he was on the show. Friday.
Over a year ago.
Yeah, February 4th, 22. So over a year ago. But we'll be talking to him again. Of course, the news of the Reader and El Perico shutting down has been reverberating everywhere. And of course, we've been talking to Brother Houston about it. And he's going to definitely come on. So get your questions ready for him. and we'll dedicate Monday's show to John Houston, and we'll talk to him about all things going on with the news.
Man.
Now that the Reader is shutting down after 30 years. Very interesting. Very interesting. Sheriff Phillips says, have a wonderful and safe happy 5. Paul B, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, everybody who joined us today. And right on, Brother Chapman. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yep. So prayers to the family. We will talk soon. You guys take care of yourselves this weekend. It's supposed to be a warm one. So make sure that your elderly have their air conditioners working and all that good stuff.
Hey.
Yeah. Keep the water out for the dog, all that good stuff. And not that I care too much, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it's all good. Take care of everything living. We appreciate that very much. And take care of yourselves. We'll see you Monday.
Peace.
By the way, Vanguard. This is protected by the red